Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I have compiled a video for you of my four of my favorite washcloth tutorials. A couple might say hot pads slash washcloths, but any of these four could be used for washcloths. Now the reason why I did this today is I'm helping my good friend Rose from Rose Likes Crochet. Now I will put a link to her YouTube channel below in the comments. I always recommend her highly. Now she is doing a she helps out a lot for charity for an organization called Wings. It's against domestic violence. So every month she does ask for people to send in different things. Well, for the month of October, she's wanting people to send in washcloths to her, and then she takes them, she opens them up on camera, everything that everybody sends, and then she takes them and then she donates them to the Wings facility against domestic violence. So that would be awesome if you guys could participate in that. Like I said, I have right here is my top 4 faves, but remember I do have a playlist with lots of other washcloths too. So please feel free, if you do get time, to look through these favorite washcloths here on this video. Maybe if you could just make one, even one washcloth makes a difference. And I will link up a Rose's channel below and the address that you need to send them to, and she wants them in October, so we have some time to get started on that. You know, I always like to I wouldn't ask if it didn't mean something, and it means a lot to me and it means a lot to Rose if we could get everybody on board making some washcloths for domestic violence. Also, when you check out her channel, you'll see everything she does as far as other things that people donate. Like I said, monthly it's something different, but I'm helping her out with the washcloth one. So enjoy these videos. Also, I'll put a link below in the description box to all my washcloths in case you're not interested in any of these. I'll show you all of them, and maybe you could pick out 1 or 2 and make and send in. It's for a good cause. No one likes domestic violence. We need to put it into it. Thanks everybody. Enjoy the show. And don't forget to subscribe to Bagoday Crochet. You can subscribe by clicking this red button right here. And don't forget to click this little bell right there next to it. That way you'll always be notified whenever Bagoday puts on a new video. Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this wash rag here that you can use for dishes or whatever you want to use it for. Wipe off your tables, I don't know, shower with, whatever. You can make it longer, I guess, make it a dish towel. But we'll go ahead and do the measurements of it. It is approximately 13.5 by about 11. Of course, you can make it taller if you want to, or shorter. Okay, I consider this probably an intermediate stitch. It's not hard as long as you know how to do post stitches. It's mainly just double crochet, single crochet, and front post double crochets. This is called the ripple stitch, the raised ripple, or some people call it the alpine stitch. It's done in any number of stitches that are odd, an odd number, so you can adjust your chain length to the size of a wash rag, or if you want to make it a dish towel or whatever that you want. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project I am using a Hobby Lobby I Love This cotton. It is a 100% cotton yarn. There's 180 yards per skein, and I went through, this is all I have left of one skein. So you're going to need about 175 yards of yarn. Especially, and if you want to make it any bigger than mine, you're going to need more. The color I'm using is called Antique Gold. Now you do not have to use this yarn. This is a medium weight number 4. Now you don't have to use this yarn. Any medium weight 4 yarn will work, but might I recommend if you're using it for a kitchen, like where it's going to be wet, as such as washing dishes, drying dishes, I would recommend using nothing less than at least an 85% cotton. That's just my recommendation. Of course, you can use acrylic. It'll still look the same. It just won't be as absorbent as cotton would. And then I'm going to be using a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. Okay, as I said in the beginning, this stitch can be worked in any number of chains that are odd. But if you want to follow along with me, you want to start out with a chain of 51. Now I'm going to show you on a smaller scale since I already have my big piece done. But once you get your chain of 51 done, we're going to go ahead and do a double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. And remember, we never count the one that's on our hook. So go ahead and double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Just like this. So row 1 is 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the end of the row. All right, once you make it to the end of row 1, you should have a total of 49 stitches. Now, you should always have a total of 49 stitches for the rest of the pattern. Rows 2 through 5 are the repeat rows too for the rest of the pattern. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the repeat rows. It's a 4-row repeat. So we're going to start row 2 by chaining 1 and turning our work. What we're going to do is go right into that very first stitch, and we're going to put a single crochet. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch across until we get to the end of the row. Just like that. So row 2 is just 1 single crochet in every stitch. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 2 here, and your last stitch here will go into the top of this little chain here. He counts as a stitch. So, and now at the end of row 2, you should still have a total of 49 stitches. Row 3, we were going to chain 1 and turn our work. So we're going to start off by putting a double crochet right there into that very first stitch. And now we're going to work a front post double crochet down here into the next stitch, but not the single crochet row, all the way down here on this double crochet row. Okay, so we're going to yarn over and we're going to go double crochet, front post double crochet around this double crochet here. Not this very first one, but the next one. So go around the post of it like that to where your post is on the front of your hook. And we're going to double crochet, but you don't want to do it real tight. You want to pull up just a little bit like that. And then go ahead and do your double crochet. Like that. And now we're going to put a double crochet into the next stitch, just right into the top of the next stitch. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet again down there around the post of the next stitch. So we don't do this one right here because we worked at this double crochet for that stitch. So we'll go around the post of the next one, which is right here. So we yarn over, go around the stitch right here, around the post of it like that, and then you do your double crochet. But like I said, don't do it real tight. Pull it up kind of loose like that, and then go ahead and do your double crochet. Just like that. Now we're going to do a double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And then we'll front post double crochet around the next down here. So it's not going to be this one, it's going to be the next one. So we yarn over, go around the post of the next stitch, and do your double front post double crochet kind of loosely. Pull it up a little bit and then do your double crochet. And that's what we're going to kind of repeat until we get to the end of the row. Double crochet into the top of the next, and then a front post double crochet into the next, which is not going to be this one, it's going to be the next one. double crochet into the top of the next, and then a front post double into the next. So not this one down here, but it's going to be the next one. Always do remember not to do the front post double too tight. Pull up a little bit on it. And we're going to repeat this pattern until we get to the end of the row, and that's what it kind of looks like. Alright, I'm coming to the end, and I did my last front post double crochet there, and then I'm going to go ahead and end by double crocheting into the last stitch. And again, you still should have 49 stitches. So row 4, we will chain 1 and turn, and we're just going to repeat what we did on row 2, and that was 1 single crochet into the very first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in every stitch across until you get to the end of the row. So row 4 is just a row of single crochet. 1 single crochet in every stitch. Just like that. Okay, I've made it to the end of row 4. You still should have your 49 stitches. What I'm going to do is chain 1 and turn my work. So what we need to do is we need to get where the post stitches are catty cornered from each other. So how we achieve that is row 5, we're going to put a double crochet into the very first stitch, and then a double crochet into the next stitch. And now we will start doing our post stitch. So we're going to go ahead and do a front post double crochet around the next stitch, which is this one right here. You see these post stitches here? We need to work in between them. So go ahead and yarn over and go into that post stitch, or go into this double crochet that's in between the post stitches, and do your front post double. Remember not to make it too tight. Pull up a bit and then double. And then we do a double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And then we front post double into the next down here in between these two post stitches. We will front post double into that one. By doing this, we're making the post stitches catty cornered from each other like that. So again, we'll go ahead and put a double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and then we'll work our front post double crochet down here into the next stitch. So it's not this post stitch, it's the one in between these two posts. So go right around the post of it way down here and do your front post double crochet, pull up, and then double crochet into the top of the next. And we're just going to keep repeating this pattern until we get to the end of the row. Front post double crochet into the next. It's the one in between these post stitches. And then it's one double crochet into the top of the next. So just keep repeating this pattern until you get to the end of row 5. Okay, I'm coming to the end of row 5, and I just did a front post double crochet, and I have 2 stitches left. I want to go ahead and just put a double crochet into the last 2 stitches, because we started out row 5 by putting a double crochet into the first 2. We're going to end it by putting double crochet into the last 2. And that's what it looks like there. Now you can see that the post stitches are catty cornered from each other. So now it's just a repeat of rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we just completed row 5. We will chain 1 and turn our work, and we'll do single crochet rows all the way across for row 6. Then row 7 will be post stitch rows again, always keeping your post stitches catty cornered from each other. See that? They're just opposite each other, and that's what gives it the ripple effect. And you just want to repeat rows 2 through 5 until you get a total of 36 rows if you're following me. You can make it bigger than that, but you will need more yarn than what I said in the beginning. So repeat rows 2 through 5 until you hit a total of 36 rows. Okay, now once you get your 36 rows done, now remember, if you want to do it bigger, you can. I just stopped here, so one skein of yarn would be enough, because I think if I went any further, I would have to break into another skein. But I got my 36 rows done. Don't tie off. What I'm going to do now is go around the whole entire piece with single crochet to clean up all the edges. So I just ended in my 36th row. It's the row of double crochets in front post double crochets. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to start working down the side. Now, as you can see, it's going to be hard to see where your stitches need to go down the side. But what I like to do is I try to put 2 single crochets to every double crochet. And then there's that one row of single crochet where you'll need to put 1 single crochet. So we'll start. So here's the double crochet on the side. So what I kind of try to do is work 2 single crochets to that double, and I kind of just dig in to where I kind of get in the middle of the double crochet on the side. So there's 1 and there's 2. Now the next row was a single crochet row right there, so I'm going to go right in to the end there of that single crochet. Now the next row was a double crochet row, so you see this double crochet row, I want to put 2 single crochets in the side of that double. So I'm just going to kind of wiggle through and try to evenly, what I'm doing is trying to evenly space out my single crochets the best that I can. And I do that by trying to work 2 single crochets to every double, and then there'll be 1 single crochet at the end of that single crochet row. So that's what I'm going to kind of do all the way down. Now the amount of stitches you have when you get back around to the beginning is probably going to be different than mine, because like I said, it's super hard to see the stitches. And the only thing you can do is just to do your best to try to evenly space them out. So there's really not a set number that you have to have when you get around here to the end. Just as long as you did your best to try to evenly space them out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll work around, evenly spacing out my stitches. Like that. And it's not going to be perfect, and that's fine. It's homemade. Of course it's not going to be perfect. So go ahead and work 1 single crochet, evenly space them out the best you can all the way down. And I'm going to meet you right here at this first corner, and we're going to go around that corner together. Alright, I've made it up here to the corner. Now what we're going to do to round the corner, just so the wash rag lays a little bit more flat on the corners, I'm just going to put 3 single crochet into that last corner stitch there. So there's 1, all in the same stitch, 2, and then there's 3. Now we're going to continue working along the bottom, and you'll probably be able to see the stitches pretty well now along the bottom side here, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get to my next corner. And then when I get to my next corner, I'll put 3 single crochets into that. And then I'll continue up the opposite side, evenly spacing out my single crochet. So we're just going to be doing this the whole way around until we get back to our starting point. So it's just evenly spacing single crochets all the way around. But when you get to each of your corners, you want to put 3 single crochets in each of those. So I'm working across, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. When I get to my corner, I'll put 3 single crochets. Helps it lay flat. And then I'm going to work back up the side, evenly spacing out my single crochets until I get up here to this top corner. 3 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet in every stitch across the top. And then I'll meet you right back here at the beginning. Okay, I've made it back to my starting point. I got 1 stitch left, and I'm going to go ahead and put 3 single crochets into that last stitch, and then I'm going to end by slip stitching over here into my first single crochet that I made, not the chain one, but the first single crochet. And I'm going to tie my yarn off, and I'm going to hide any remaining tails that I have. Okay, once you get all your tails hidden, what I like to do whenever I work with post stitches is kind of give it a little stretch out, because post stitches, they kind of crumple up your work a little bit. But that's it. That's all there is to it. I think it turned out really nice. I'm sure my daughter will love to do dishes with it. Not really. She hates doing dishes. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial and you like the way this wash rag looks, I'd appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up. If you make this, I'd really like to see a picture of it. You can post a picture on my Bagoday Crochet fan Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. Also, don't forget to subscribe. If you look over there on the right hand side, there's a link to some more videos that maybe you might enjoy since you like this one. Thanks everybody for watching, and have a good day. Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this hot pad. You can use it for a hot pad or a washcloth. I still gotta hide all my tails. I would, if you wanted to use it for a pot holder, I would probably make two and double them up or something, because otherwise it's got holes and you're gonna get burnt. But it makes a real pretty hot pad or a washcloth. But you don't even have to use these colors. You can use any colors that you want. But I'm using Peaches and Cream, which is 100% cotton, and you want to make sure that if you're going to use it for a hot pad, that you use cotton. Even for a wash rag, cotton works the best. And I'm using the colors of the rainbow, so I don't remember. I just got scraps. Here's purple, and then I believe this is called Fresh Lilac, and then I got bright blue, royal blue, forest green, bright orange, and then the yellow, I believe, was just called yellow. And then I just have, the red was just called red, and then the white all around it. But you can use any colors that you want. And if you can see how big it is, it's probably about, I don't know, 10 inches across maybe. That's just a guess. Something like that. And I'm going to be using a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. And this is really easy to make. Okay, well before we start, I'll just address my scrapes on my hand, because every time I have some type of cut or something on my hand, I always get a few emails. Everybody always asks me what happened. This was from, I was making pots outside, planting flowers, and I was mixing different kinds of dirt together. I used to be a landscape designer years ago, and I gave that up to stay home with my kids, but so I always still make pots outside, and I always make a special dirt mixture, and I was mixing it up, and it has wood bark and stuff in it, and that's what happened there. It kind of cut my hands up. So just get that out of the way so everybody knows what that's from. Okay, you want to start with the slip knot on your hook, and we're going to start off with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. And then we're going to chain 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work 12 double crochets through the center of the ring. So we're going to yarn over, go right through the center, draw up a loop, and double crochet. And we want to do that 12 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now you want to, if you pull your center tail, you can usually close up that circle. And now you want to slip stitch into your first double crochet. Not that chain one way down there, but the very first double crochet that we did. And now I'm going to tie this off, and I'm going to switch yarn colors here. You don't have to switch colors. You can do it all the same color, do whatever you want, but I'm going to clip off and switch colors here. So I'm going to clip this. Okay, now I'm going to use my next color. I'm going to be using is a light blue. So I'm just going to start in the same spot that I just ended in. So right here into this slip stitch spot, and I'm going to chain one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to do a double crochet right back into that same stitch. Double crochet right back into it like that. And now what I'm going to do is a front post triple crochet around the same stitch. So this one right here that we just slip stitched into, we want to yarn over twice like we're going to do a triple crochet, but we're going to go around the post of the stitch like that, and then go ahead and do the triple crochet like that. Now we're going to go over to the next stitch, which is right here. We're going to put a double crochet in the top of that stitch, and then we're going to do a front post triple crochet around the post of the same stitch. So we're going to yarn over twice, go around the same stitch that you just double crocheted into, around the post of it like that, and then we go ahead and do our triple crochet. Again, we're going to jump to the next stitch, and we're going to put a double crochet into the top of it, and then we're going to do a front post triple crochet around the post of the same stitch. So we're going to yarn over twice and go right around the post of it like that, and then we do our triple crochet. And we're just going to repeat this all the way around. So you jump to the next stitch there and do a double crochet into the top of it, and then we're going to do a front post triple around the post of the same stitch. So yarn over twice, go around the post of the same stitch, and triple crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. Double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and front post triple around the post of the same stitch. Doing that one over. My yarn just split. So we're just going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. Double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and front post triple crochet around the post of the same stitch. And when you get back around, you should have a total of 24 stitches. Okay, once you make it all the way around, your last stitch should be the front post triple around your last stitch. Go ahead and slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet, not the chain one, but the first double, like that. And I'm going to clip this off, and I'm going to start my next color, and I'm going to start it with the dark blue, and I'm going to start it in the same spot that I just ended in. So that same spot, I'm going to start by chaining one, and I'm going to put a double crochet right back into that same stitch. Like that. And now I'm going to put a double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And if you look, you can see it's a front post triple there. What we want to do is put a double crochet into the top of that stitch. And then we want to put a front post triple around the same stitch. So triple around the post here. Just like that. Again, we're going to put one double crochet into the next stitch. And then the next stitch is the front post triple stitch. You can see it here. You want to put a double crochet in the top of it. And then you want to put a front post triple around the post of it, like this. Again, double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And then double crochet. This is the post stitch, double crochet into the top of it. And double crochet, or front post triple crochet, I'm sorry, around the post of it. And that's the pattern repeat this time around. So that's actually 2 double crochets in a row. So one double into the next stitch, and then a double into the top of the next stitch, and then it's a front post triple around the same stitch. It's keeping the posts lined up. That's all we're doing. Double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, and then front post triple around that same stitch. And you just want to repeat this all the way around. When you get back around, you should have a total of 36 stitches at the end of round 3. Okay, once you make it all the way around and you got your 48 stitches, your last stitch should have been a front post triple. Go ahead and slip stitch into the top of your first double crochet. Tie that off. I'm going to switch colors again. And I'm going to start with my green, and I'm going to start it in the same spot that I just ended in. And I'm going to start by chaining one and putting one double crochet right back into that same stitch. And then I'm going to put one double crochet into the next stitch. And then you can see that the next stitch is the post stitch. And every time we get to a post stitch, there's always going to be a double crochet on top of the post stitch, and then a front post triple crochet around the same post stitch. That's how we're going to increase every round. That's increasing is what's making the circles stay flat. So we're going to put one double crochet in these 2 stitches here, and then one double crochet on the top of this stitch, and one front post triple around the post of the same stitch. And around the same stitch, I do my front post triple. Just like that. Now I'm going to put one double crochet in each of these stitches here. And then my next stitch, you can see, is the post, so I'm going to put one double crochet on top of it, and then the front post triple around the post of the same stitch, like that. And I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. One double crochet in these 2 stitches here in between the posts. Here's the two posts on each side. You can see there's stitches in between, and then this stitch is the post, so you got to put a double crochet on top of it, and then a front post triple crochet around the same post. So I'm going to go ahead and put my double crochet on top of it, and then I'm going to front post triple around the post of the same stitch. So this is the pattern I'm going to repeat this time around. And when I get back around this time, I should have a total of 48 stitches at the end of round 4. Okay, when you make it all the way around, again, you should have ended in the front post triple crochet. And you want to slip stitch into the top of your first double to end that round. I'm going to tie off, and now I'm going to start my yellow. And I'm going to start it in the same stitch that I just ended in. My yellow is a big cone of yellow. They didn't have no little ones. I think this is a big one. Okay. And I'm just going to start by chaining 1 and double crocheting right back into that same stitch. And now I'm going to put 1 double crochet in these next 2 stitches here, and then the next stitch you can see is the post stitch, so you want to put a double crochet into the top of it and a double crochet, or front post triple crochet, I'm sorry, around the post of the same stitch, like that. And now if you look right here, if in between the posts, there's 3 double crochets. You want to put 1 double crochet in each of those. And then the next one is the post, so you want to put a double crochet in the top of it and the front post triple around the post of it. And then right here are the posts. If you look in between them, there's 3 double crochet, so you got to put 1 double crochet in each of those. And then the next stitch is the post, so you got to put a double crochet in the top of it and a front post triple around the post of it. And now this is the pattern all the way around this time. Just like that. As you can see, we're just keeping the posts all lined up. Every row has another double crochet in between, so it's really easy to get the hang of it. There's 3 double crochets in between this post, so go ahead and put 1 double crochet in each of those. And then the next stitch is the post stitch, so you're going to put a double crochet in the top of it and a double crochet around, or I keep saying that, a front post triple around the post of it. Just like that. And you want to continue this pattern all the way around, and when you get back around you should have a total of 60 stitches at the end of round 5. Okay, once you make it all the way around, you ended in that front post triple. You should always end in that front post triple. Go ahead and slip stitch into your first double crochet, tie that off. Now I'm going to start with my orange. And I'm going to start in the same stitch that I ended in, and I'm going to start by chaining 1 and putting a double crochet right back into that same stitch. And I'm going to put a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Like that. And then the next stitch is my post stitch, so I'm going to put a double crochet on top and a front post triple around the post of the same stitch. So there's my double crochet on top and my front post triple around the post. Now again, if you look between the posts, you can see now that there's 4 double crochets between the posts. Last time there were 3. The time before that there were 2. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the stitches between the posts. And now I'm at the post, so what I'm going to do is put a double crochet in the top and then a front post triple around the post of the same stitch. And again, we're still just keeping our posts lined up the whole time, every round. Like that. And when you look in between the posts, there's 4 double crochets, so you want to put 1 double crochet in each of those 4 stitches. And then the next stitch is the post stitch. So we put 1 double crochet in top, and then we front post triple around the post. So now we're just going to repeat this all the way around. Just like that. And when you get back around, you should have a total of, at the end of round 6. Okay, once you make it all the way around, I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the top of your first double crochet. Tie this off. And now I'm going to start my red, which should be my last round before I do the edging. I'm just going to do it in the same way I've been doing the other ones. Start right here in the very same stitch that I ended in, and I'm going to start with a chain of 1, double crochet right back into that same stitch, and then I'm going to double crochet in these next 4 stitches here. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can see the next one is the post. So we got a double crochet in the top of it and front post triple around the post of it. So there's my double crochet and front post triple around the post of it. So we're just doing kind of the same thing we've been doing every round. Now if you look in between the posts, you'll see there are 5 double crochets this time, just like last time there were 4. The time before that there were 3. But now we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of those 5 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The next stitch is the post. So we're going to double crochet in the top of it, and then we're going to front post triple around the post of it. And now we're just going to repeat this all the way around. The same thing we've been doing. Just like that. Posts are always still staying lined up. So when you get back around, you should have a total of... Okay, now once you make it all the way around, again, we're just going to slip stitch into our first double crochet and tie that off. Now you can make this bigger if you want before you put the edging on it. You're going to just keep going around the same way that we've been going around, and there will always be 1 more double crochet in between the posts every round. But now I'm going to start putting the white on. Okay, I'm going to start my white in any one of these post stitches. So right here you can see the post. I'm going to start right in the top of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1. Now into the same post stitch, I'm going to work 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet into the same stitch, and then one more half double into that same stitch. So that post stitch got a half double, a double, and then another half double in the same stitch. Now I'm going to put one single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So single crochet into the next, and then single crochet into the next. Okay, the next stitch is going to get 1 half double crochet, and in the same stitch I'm going to put 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to put a half double into the same stitch like that. And now I'm going to move to the next stitch, and I'm going to put the same thing, a half double crochet, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and a half double crochet like that. And then I'm going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 single, 1 single, and now we're back at the post stitch again, and we're just going to repeat what we just did. So on this post stitch we're going to put 1 half double, 1 double, and 1 half double, all into that post stitch there. Now I'm going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 single into the next. The next stitch is going to get 1 half double, 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 1 half double, and now I'm going to jump to the next stitch, and I'm going to do that again. So it's going to get 1 half double, 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 1 half double like that. And now I'm going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1 and 1. And now you'll be at your post stitch again. And you just repeat what we've been doing. So you just do a half double, 1 double, and 1 half double into the post. 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then in the next you get your half double, 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 1 half double. And then we jump to the next one and repeat this again. So it's 1 half double, 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 1 half double, and then it's 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and repeat again, starting at your post stitch. So that's the edging, and you just want to repeat that all the way around. It's supposed to kind of look like poofy clouds. I don't know if it really does or not, but repeat that all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Okay, when you make it back around, you just slip stitch into your first half double crochet, tie that off, and then you can hide all your tails, and that is it. That is all there is to it. I think it makes a cute little bright colorful hot pad. I still gotta hide some tails, but that'll do it. It's pretty easy. If you make this or anything else, I'd really love to see a picture of it. You can post a picture on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. And you can check my Etsy shop out for the pattern for this. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'll put links to all that stuff below. And till next time, have a good day. Hi everybody, this is Krista. So today I'm going to show you how to make this really nice washcloth set. I mean, they turned out really nice. I mean, it'd be a nice gift for anybody. I mean, I would love to receive this. There's 3 washcloths in there, and of course you can put more if you want, and they're tied with the ribbon. But I'll go ahead and untie them so I can show you what they look like here. I'll retie that later. But when you open them up, look how nice them are. They're nice. They got that nice ridges on them, bumpy on this side. Nice clean edges. And they are just plain flat on the bottom. Now these are approximately 13 inches by 13 inches. And you can always make yours bigger or smaller if you'd like. But that's what size mine turned out to be. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. And I'll show you what I used. What I used was Peaches and Cream. It's a 100% cotton 4-ply yarn, medium weight. Now you don't have to use this brand, but you highly recommend cotton. You do not want to use acrylic for washcloths or dish rags. It's just not going to work out for you very well. I mean, cotton's what you want to use. And there are, let's see how many yards we got here. 120 yards in each one of these skeins. And I use about a skein and a half per cloth. So about 180 yards per washcloth. So it took me about 1 full skein, and this is what I got left of the second. So it's about half. And the colors that I chose were bright blue, sunshine, and then I have dark taupe. But of course you use any colors that you like. There are tons of colors of cotton. Now for the ribbon, I chose a dark brown ribbon, and again, any kind you want. This is a satin ribbon, and it is 5/8 inch, and it probably took me about 5 feet to wrap up my dishcloths. 5 feet per set. I'm gonna make more sets. This is just my first set, but yeah, see, they turned out really nice. And then I'm gonna be using a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, for my size, mine, like I said, were about 13 by 13. Now you can make yours bigger or smaller. This stitch is done in a multiple of 2. So if you want to make yours smaller than mine, or you want to make a big bath towel, or you want to use the stitch for something else, it just needs to be done in a multiple of 2, and it's a really easy stitch. So I'm going to do mine on a smaller scale because I already got my big piece done. But what you want to do is start with a chain of 44 from my size. And once you get your chain of 44 made, we're going to put 1 single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. And then we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of your chain. Okay, once you make it to the end of row 1, you should have a total of 43 stitches. Okay, now for row 2, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. Now what we're going to do is put 1 single crochet, this is starting row 2, 1 single crochet into that very first stitch. Like that. And then we're going to triple crochet into the next stitch. So we triple, that's where we yarn over twice. And go into the next stitch and do our triple crochet. And then we're going to single crochet into the next. And then we're going to triple crochet into the next. And single into the next. And we're just going to repeat this to the end of the row. Triple crochet, and single crochet. And if you flip it over, you'll be able to see that the triple crochets are kind of popping out a little bit, and that's what gives it that little bit of a bubble look. So we triple crochet into the next, and then single crochet. So triple crochet, single crochet, triple crochet, single crochet, all the way until you get to the end of row 2. And when you get to the end of row 2, you still should have 43 stitches. Okay, I'm coming to the end of row 2, and your last stitch should be a single crochet. So go ahead and single crochet that. 43 stitches at the end of row 2. So for row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to single crochet again right into the very first stitch. And now we're just going to put 1 single crochet in every single stitch to the end of the row. So this row 3 is just a row single crochet. And when you get to the end, you still should have 43 stitches. Okay, I made it to the end of row 3, and you'll have 43 stitches. Remember, I did mine a little smaller, but you can see your stitches poofing out a little bit, and you'll see that more the more rows you do. But now it's just a repeat of rows 2 and 3. That's all it is. It's just an easy two row repeat. So you just chain 1 and turn your work. Start off with 1 single crochet into that very first stitch, and then triple crochet into the next. Single crochet into the next, and then triple crochet into the next. Single crochet, and then triple crochet. You do that all the way to the end, and you'll still have 43 stitches. Okay, I'm coming to the end, and I should be ending in a single crochet, and that's it. Now I'm just gonna repeat row 3 by chaining 1 and turning, single crochet into that very first stitch, and 1 single crochet in every stitch across. So I'm just going to keep repeating rows 2 and 3, and at the end of each row I should always have 43 stitches. That stitch count doesn't change. So keep repeating rows 2 and 3 until you reach a total of 35 rows. Okay, once you get done with your 35th row, and it should be a single crochet row, should be your last row, we're not going to tie off. What we're going to do is go around the whole piece with single crochet and clean up all the edges. So after that 35th row, I'm just going to chain 1, and now I'm going to start working down the side of the dishcloth. So I'm just going to kind of go in and just kind of evenly space out these single crochets. If you look, you can kind of see where they need to go at the end of each row. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but you can do your best here. Kind of like right here in this gap, I'll put 1, and then a little gap here, and then this bigger gap. and then the little gap next to it. And I'm going to do this all the way down this first side here. And what this is going to do is clean up the edges, make them look real nice and neat. Gotta have neat edges. Don't want them looking all raggedy, especially if it's for a gift. So I'm going to work all the way down this side here. See how much nicer that looks until I get over here, down here to the bottom. Okay, when you make it down here to your first corner right here, this is kind of where we started. I'm going to put 3 single crochets right there into that stitch. And what that's going to do is help round the corner out. So just go ahead and put 3 right in there into that corner stitch. It's going to help it lay flat, and it's going to make it look a lot nicer. Now I'm going to try to hide this beginning tail as I go. And now I'm going to work my way across the other side here, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. And you'll probably be able to see the single crochets where they're supposed to go a lot better here on this bottom part. So 1 single now in every stitch across the bottom here until you get to your next corner. Just like that. Now when you look at it, you can see how much nicer that looks compared to it being just plain over here. So I'm going to continue working 1 single crochet across here, and when I get to this corner I'll put 3 single crochets in it, and then I'll continue working up this side, and this side is where it's kind of hard to see where I put single crochets, but it's just like over here. Just do the best you can to kind of evenly space them out. And then I'm going to put 3 single crochets in this corner. And then we'll be right up here at the top, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet all the way across the top until we get back to where we started. And I'll meet you right here where we started. Okay, once you make it back all the way back around to the beginning and you get to your very last stitch right here, you want to put 3 single crochets into that very last stitch. That way we have 3 in every corner. And then what we're going to do is there's this chain 1 here that we made. We want to skip that and slip stitch into this very first single crochet that we did right here on the side. So not this chain 1. It looks like a stitch. We're not going to do nothing with that. We're going to slip stitch right here into this first single crochet that we made. Like that. And now you want to tie off, clip that yarn. Now the number of stitches you have around right now isn't really important because it could be different if you counted wrong, you know, didn't space these out quite the same as me on the sides. You know, as long as it's laying flat and it looks nice and straight, that's all that matters. And then you got a nice washcloth. So now what we're going to do is hide this tail real quick. So let me get my yarn needle. And I'm going to go hide it from the back here. Kind of just weave it in. Weave it in quite a few times so it doesn't come undone. I always find it's hard to weave tails on cotton. That's why I got this big old needle here, or this big old yarn hook here. It's easier with a big one, I think. Okay, once you get it weaved in there good enough and you think that's probably not going to come undone, Go ahead and clip that tail off. And then any other tails you got remaining, you want to go ahead and hide them. And then I put in the 3 in my set, so that's what it looks like here. Just like that. So I'm going to grab my other 3 and my ribbon. And we're going to fold them up, get them all the same size. So just kind of lay them out. So we can make sure they're all about the same size. Sometimes you might need to stretch one a bit. So yeah, they're all looking good. So what we're going to do is just fold them up nice and neat. We're going to tie a ribbon around them. Make sure you ain't got no loose tails. I do. Got to clip that one. Okay. So lay it backside facing you, and we're just going to fold it nice and neatly like you would any old wash rag, you know, like you're folding laundry, I guess. Make sure all the corners line up good. If you're giving it as a nice gift, you want it to look really nice. And these are actually for my sister-in-law asked me to make these. She's going to give them away to some people that she works with, I guess. So I'm going to make them look nice and neat for her. That's usually the only time I make stuff for people. It's just my family, if they ask me to. Otherwise, I'm pretty well just make stuff for my YouTube channel. And then I'm going to stack it on top of this one the same way, go in the same direction. And I'll do my last one here. Stack it on, same direction. Now I'm going to take my ribbon, whatever color you chose, to go with whatever color yarns you're using. I'm going to tie them up. So, pull it out, put you want to put it the shiny side facing you. I'll put it on top, like, I guess you can't see that. Let me raise up my camera here. Sorry about that. Okay, so you just want to put it, these are thick wash rags, or a dishcloth, so you just want to put it on top like that, and then flip it. Try to keep them nice, and then leave yourself a lot of length on that side. And then twist it like this. Right in the center, the best you can, keeping the shiny side up still if you can, and then we'll flip it back around, and then we'll tie a bow. And I left lots of length on that other side so I could tie a bow there. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip my ribbon off there so I can tie a bow. So now I'm just gonna take it. I'm not very good at tying bows, so at all, but you'll get the idea. Just tie a nice bow there, the best that you can. And then you just cut your ribbon off. I'll fix that bow, it don't work that great, but that you get the idea. And you just do that, and then you can cut the ends off however short you want them to be. I cut mine at an angle like that, but that's it. That's all there is to it. And that's a really nice gift, I think. You can turn it over, and you need to straighten out the ribbon there, but that's how it's done. I think it looks good. Turned out nice. If you make this or anything else, I'd like to see a picture of it. You can post a picture on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. Also, don't forget to check me out on Instagram, and I'll have the link to the written pattern below for this also. And until next time, have a good day. Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this hot pad here. It's actually really pretty easy. It's a simple 1-row repeat. It does make quite a pretty stitch. I'll have to go ahead and take the measurements of it here. Counting the picots, it's about 8 inches. About 8 inches. So now this, I consider this a hot pad to where if you take your pots or your pans, you take your pot off the stove and set this on the counter and set your pot on it. I would not recommend grabbing anything out of the oven with it, like a pot holder. If you want to do that, definitely make 2 of these and double it up to give you extra thickness. But as it stands now, either decoration, it'd make a great hot pad to set your pans on when they're hot so you don't burn your countertop, or you can even use it for a wash rag if you wanted to. But, you know, pot holder wise, if you're going to be grabbing pots, definitely double it up because you don't want to burn your hands. But so let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, for this project I am using Sugar and Cream. It's a medium weight number 4, 100% cotton. Now you do not have to use this brand, but I highly recommend that you use cotton yarn, because cotton's just best for anything in the kitchen, especially when heat is involved. Cotton won't melt like acrylic can sometimes melt if it reaches temperatures that are too high. Cotton won't do that. So it's best to use cotton. Now this one is a 100% cotton. Now I know there's another popular brand that a lot of people have, Premier Home. Now it's an 85 cotton and a 15 polyester. This one would be okay too. I would not use anything less than an 85% cotton. Now that's just my recommendations. You can do what you want, but that's just what I recommend. The color I used is called Tea Rose, and then I used the same brand cream for the edging, if you want to put that on. This was full when I started. Let's see the yardage. I think there's 120 yards. Yeah, 120 yards. So you'll get 1. You might be able to get 2 out of a skein, maybe, but at least 1, probably 2. And then I'm going to be using a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And I just want to take a second, like always, to ask you, please not to forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you look in the lower right hand corner, you will see a little red subscribe button. If you click on that, you'll automatically be subscribed. Also, you can always check me out on Facebook. The links to that are in the description box. You can show me all your stuff that you made and follow my tutorials, because I'd really love to see them. Or if you have any questions, you can always ask me on there. And also, as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. So this stitch is called the Suzette stitch. It's a pretty common stitch. Some of you might have heard of it. Now it's done in it's done in any odd number. So you can chain any odd number. So if you want to make this hot pad bigger or smaller, or you want to use this stitch for something else, because it is a really pretty stitch, you just need to chain an odd number. So if you want to follow along with me, I chained 23. Alright, once you get your chain of 23 made, we are going to be working in the second stitch from the hook. Remember, we don't count the one that's on our hook. So we skip 1, and in the second stitch, we're going to work a single crochet and a double crochet into the same stitch. Just like that. And now we're going to skip 1 stitch. So we skip this one, and then the next one we do the same thing. We're going to work a single crochet and a double into the same stitch. Skip one stitch, and in the next stitch, again, a single crochet and a double crochet in the same stitch. And that's what we're going to repeat until we get to the end of the row. We're going to skip one stitch, and in the next stitch, single crochet and double crochet into the same stitch. Skip one, and in the next, single and double into the same stitch. So I'm going to repeat this pattern until I get to the end of my row. Okay, I've made it to the end of row 1, and I have one stitch that remains. Go ahead and single crochet into that last stitch, and that'll end row 1. And you should have 11 sets of these single crochet double crochets into the same stitch. Now row 2 is the repeat row for the entire hot pad. So we chain 1 and turn our work. Now this very first stitch here, we are going to do a single crochet and a double crochet into that same stitch. And then we're going to skip one stitch, and in the next stitch, it's a single crochet and a double crochet into the same stitch. Skip one stitch, the next stitch is the same thing, single crochet and a double crochet. And that's what we're going to repeat until we get to the end of the row. Now if you notice, when we skip one, we're always working into the single crochet, never the double crochet. So when we skip one, we're actually skipping that double crochet from the previous row, and we're working in the single. So we skip this one in the next stitch, which is the single crochet from the previous row. We single crochet and double crochet into that same stitch. Skip one, and in the next, single crochet and double crochet. And we're just going to keep repeating that. Skip one, and in the next, which is always a single crochet, we always are working into the single crochet. We single crochet and double crochet. So I'm going to repeat this pattern until I get to the end of the row. Alright, I'm coming to the end of row 2, and we are going to skip this last double crochet, and then the single crochet here on the end, we're going to just single crochet into it. It's actually kind of a chain, but it counts as a single, just like that. And you still should have 11 of these sets. So now we're just going to repeat that row 2. We chain 1 and we turn our work. And in the very first stitch, we work a single crochet and a double crochet into the same stitch. Then we skip 1, and in the next stitch, single crochet and double crochet into the same stitch. Skip 1, in the next stitch, single crochet and double crochet. Remember, you're always working into the single crochets from the previous row. Skip 1 and repeat the pattern. Single crochet, double crochet. And when we get to the end of the row, we do the same thing that we did for row 2. We just skip this stitch, and in the last stitch we single crochet. And you'll always have 11 sets of those single crochet doubles into the same stitch. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep repeating that row. Back and forth, back and forth. You can do it for as many rows as you like. I'm going to do it for a total of 15 rows. Alright, I got my 15 rows done. This is what it looks like. And remember, you can always do more if you want. Don't tie off now. Now we're going to go around the entire piece with a row of single crochet to clean up all the edges. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a chain 1. Now we're going to go back, we're going to work down the side. And it's going to be kind of hard to see where the stitches need to go because you're kind of working. But try to put one at the end of every row, a single crochet. Or do your best to. Or just evenly space them out the best that you can. So I kind of just put one kind of right here in this hole, just kind of show you what I'm doing. And then this longer space here, kind of wiggle my hook in between that chain there, and then I'll put a single crochet there. And then again into the next little hole. And then wiggle it through like that. The next little hole, and then wiggle it through. I'm just going to do this all the way down. Okay, when you get to the end here, well, I got one more spot to go in. Right here, the end of the row. You want to put 3, you see here's where we started because there's your tail. You want to put 3 single crochets into that corner. That'll help round the corner out a little bit. Like that. And then I'm just going to work 1 single crochet across the bottom here. In every stitch, you should be able to see pretty close to where the stitches are. Now when you get while we're working around this pot holder, there's no certain number of stitches that you need to have because you might have a different number than me. Since we're just kind of trying to evenly space out our single crochets. The only thing that matters is that we have an even number of stitches. We need to make sure that we have an even number. So I'm just going to continue all the way around. Working 1 single crochet in every stitch. And then when I get into each corner, I'm going to put 3 single crochets. And then I'm going to do my best to try to evenly space out my single crochets up this side. And then I'm going to put 3 single crochets into this corner. And then I'm going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch across the top. And then I'm going to meet you right back here at our starting point. Alright, I have made it back to my starting point. And here's my last stitch. Now, remember when I said you needed to have an even number of stitches this time all the way around? Now, yours might be different than mine, but go ahead and count your stitches all the way around. Now, if you have an even number right now, put 2 single crochets into this last stitch. If you have an odd number, put 3. It doesn't make any difference what you have, as long as I ended in an even number. So I'm going to put 2 stitches in that last stitch, so I will still have an even number of stitches. Now if you had an odd number and you put 3 stitches in there, it'll make you end in an even number. So it's okay if you didn't have the same amount as me, because when you're working on the sides of these, It's really hard to kind of determine where the stitch needs to go. So yours might be different than mine, and that's fine. It's no big deal. So now what we're going to do is make sure you got your even number. We're going to end in a slip stitch into our first single crochet. So remember, this is our chain 1. We don't want to go into that. We want to go into our first, this was our chain 1 that we did. We want to go into our first single crochet that we made. And then we're going to clip that off. Like that. Now I'm going to go around it with some white. Now you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Well, some off-white, I guess. Let's put a little picot edging. Now you can start anywhere you want. I'm going to start opposite side of where I just ended. I don't know why. I always do that. I'm just going to start up here in the corner somewhere. Anywhere is fine. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm going to go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch, but I'm going to put a picot on this one. So what I'm going to do is chain 3 after that single crochet, and then I'm going to go back down and slip stitch to make a little point at the top. Some people slip stitch it to the first chain to make a picot, and that's fine. I like to go on the side of the single crochet and slip stitch. I think it makes the picot tighter. It holds better. And then I slip stitch. There we go. And that made that little ball looking thing on the top. That's a picot. So now I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch. And then the next stitch, I'm going to single crochet and I'm going to put a picot on this one. So I'm going to chain 3 and then go back down, and I always grab the side of the single crochet and then slip stitch like that, single crochet into the next stitch, and then single crochet again into the next, and then I'll put a picot on this one. So chain 3, go back down to the side of it and slip stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and then single crochet into the next, and put a picot on this one. And I'm just going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Single crochet into the next, single crochet into the next, and then chain 3, putting a picot here. Just like that. And if you look, you'll see that's what it starts to look like. Some little balls on it. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around my entire pot holder until I get back to the beginning. Alright, I've made it back to my starting point, and your last stitch should have been a picot right there. And I'm going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into my first single crochet that I made. And then I'm going to tie that off, clip my tail. I'm going to clip any other tails that I crocheted in along the way. Bunch of them. Okay, then I'll just have to hide this one here, and that is it. That's all there is to it. I think it turned out pretty cute. Cute little something to set your hot pots on. Remember though, if you're going to use this for a regular pot holder where you're going to grab pans out of the oven, definitely double it up. I mean, 100% do that. Otherwise, you know, it'd be great for just for a hot pad. You know, that's probably what I'll use it for, or even you know, washcloth or whatever. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Remember, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you look up in the left hand corner, you'll see a picture of my face. Click on my nose or something, and then you'll automatically be subscribed, and you'll never miss any of my updates. Also, don't forget to check me out on Facebook. To link to those pages are below in the description box. So until next time, have a good day.